Before I start this video, I want to set out a few disclaimers. For one, this is just my opinion on the show. Obviously, you don't have to share the same opinion as I do. You have a right to dislike it, and I am not claiming otherwise. Also, this video contains spoilers, so if you haven't watched KIPO, do it now. Then come right back to this video when you're done. Thanks. Hey, it's Vines here. If you know me, you would know that I'm a big fan of cartoons and animation. I really enjoy the lightheartedness, comedy, and adventurous aspect that so many have that certain live-action shows or movies just can't quite hit in the same way. So that's why I of course noticed KIPO when it was advertised on Netflix as a show coming up. I thought that I should definitely try it out because the setting looked really interesting and it just in general looked like my cup of tea. I was really pleasantly surprised by the end of it because of a huge variety of reasons, but we'll get into that. First, we need to give a bit of an overview of what KIPO and the Age of Wonderbeasts is all about. KIPO and the Age of Wonderbeasts is a Dreamworks animation series that premiered on Netflix on January 14th, 2020. It is created by Radford Secrist, I hope I'm saying that right, based on his webcomic from back in 2015. As of now, it has 2 seasons available to watch on Netflix. The series is about a girl named KIPO who lives in a sort of post-apocalyptic era where many species of animals mutated or became mutes. Fun fact, I actually did not make the connection for a really long time on why they were called mutes, and I was actually kind of confused because they talk. And normal animals don't talk, but the mutes talk, so they aren't mute. I did eventually figure it out, thank God. So, KIPO is basically thrown from her underground burrow of a human civilization out into the surface, the open world, where mutes roam. Going into this cartoon when I first saw KIPO, I really thought nothing of why she was pink, because what if in the story people are just pink or something? As the series went on, I of course eventually figured out that she is really the only pink person out there, and there was something different about her, but the way that you start off is really quite interesting. During her time on the surface, KIPO runs into various characters on the way to finding her home again, and forms relationships with them, either friendly or as enemies. You get to explore this odd world with her, and you get to see all types of mute groups and civilizations. The world building is endlessly interesting, what with groups of lumberjack cats and punk rock snakes, but that's not all, because there's some more underground stuff going on too. There's talk of a more higher power, of evil mutes controlling others and destroying human burrows and just generally doing evil things. And of course, as the journey goes on, KIPO and her gang interact more with the darker side of the mute world. It all comes together at the end of Season 1 in a cliffhanger fashion and so many questions buzzing in your head. Season 2 answers so many of those. While in the first season we get introduced to the world, its threat, and its heroes, in the second we get to see why all these things are the way they are. Why the world is like this, why the heroes are the heroes, why the threat is the threat. We delve deep into history and lore that not only expands things, but makes a lot of connections that were teased so much in the first season, and it is revealed to us as it is revealed to the main characters. But it isn't just a good story that makes a cartoon, of course. You have to get into the technicalities of it. Let's talk about the music now. The music of the show honestly either bangs so hard and gives you intense feels, or is really emotional and mood-setting. And it's really just fun to listen to all the unique tracks that they put into this cartoon. It's honestly something really special to this show. The type of music they used isn't seen really at all in any other show in this way. It really sets the tone for the show in general as well. Something kind of funky and wacky, but really gets the point across. There's this one moment where KIPO has just fully turned into a mute for the first time to protect her friends as enemies attack them. And it feels just so incredibly epic because of the music and the situation, and just, it's fantastic. Another technicality we must mention is the art for KIPO. I really love the character designs for so many of the characters. They're all really fitting to the characters, and all of the mutant animals look really neatly designed. I like how Scarlemagne is designed especially as a villain. He's just somehow a menacing monkey. I enjoy the little things, like the spikiness of KIPO's hair, the little cat on Benson's shirt, Dave's after watching JoJo phase being very over the top. It's great. The background art for KIPO is also really pretty, and I could look at all of the background art for a really long time, especially in the amusement park scene and Scarlemagne's palace, and god, just so many good backgrounds. There's one singular nitpick I have, and it's that I'm honestly not a big fan of the animation. A lot of the stills look really nice because the character designs and art are fantastic. However, I don't really like the way that the characters move and how sketchy the animation looks a lot of the time. There are also action scenes that I'm sure would be a lot cooler if the animation was much less stoic in more ways than just physically sketchy. It sometimes feels like the point of view is awkward and lingers too long, and I don't know. It's just a little pet peeve I have when it comes to watching this show. But I can assure you, there are a lot of things that redeem KIPO from the small mistakes in animation. Like, well, the characters. KIPO is such a delight of a main character, and although it takes your regular, naive protagonist who just wants to be friends with everybody character trope, it still holds up as you get to see her interact with this broken world and all its unique characters and history. She's also one of 2 furries in the main 3 group of friends, but that isn't exactly the point. Anyway, it's kind of like a Harry Potter situation, where you have the main characters sheltered from the main setting up until the start of the series, in which they get to explore a place with the audience. And it's fun to see the journey that KIPO goes on through with her buds. She really grows throughout the series, and I think that's neat. She learns about the moral grays of the world rather than the black and white. And she reacts to her destiny in a way that I haven't really seen any character react before. See, this is weird to state, but basically, KIPO's parents infused her with a gene that make her half megamute so that she could bridge the worlds between human and mute and make peace again. And instead of being really put off by this fact, KIPO is just so, like, happy-go-lucky and friend-programmed that she's just, like, cool. And I think it's kind of interesting to see a character accept this while everyone else around her expects her to be really affected and surprised. I don't know, usually this would make a character really badly written, but the way KIPO does it, it slides pretty smoothly. So Wolf is a really special story for me because she's my favorite, my absolute cinnamon apple. Wolf is the first actual person that KIPO meets, the first friendly creature being her cute little pig Mondu, but, well, I wouldn't exactly call Wolf a friendly creature at first. Wolf decides to try and get KIPO out of her hair by helping her get to her family, and of course, like your usual adventuring unlikelies, they bond and become friends, and then Wolf doesn't want to leave her anymore. And so many of their interactions are just so cute and scream older younger sister energy to me. You have like super fluff-hearted 13-year-old and an angry survives off hunting down pigs 10-year-old, and that relationship is just so interesting and special. And come on, you gotta love Wolf. She's so angry, it's funny. My little angry baby. But something totally sprung up out of nowhere at me while I was watching the first season of the series, and it was the reveal of Wolf's backstory and what actually happened to her. And, well, I'll just be straightforward with you. Your girl doesn't cry when watching movies, okay? It's, like, rare, but even though cartoons and movies often evoke an emotional reaction out of me, I rarely find myself shedding any tears over anyone. There are, of course, a few exceptions, but it's rare. But, Wolf, somehow, watching her backstory I could feel a single tear trickle down my face. I was so sad. It was so sad. Oh my gosh. I love you, Wolf. I love you. But on a funnier note, Queen straight up killed her own traitorous adoptive mom and wears her as a coat. If that doesn't scream power move, I don't know what does. Alright, Benson and Dave. Benson is super special and such a neat character, and okay, I could go on, but his pal for life, Dave, is an immortal bug guy who constantly cycles through phases of life. It's an odd character for sure. They meet through Wolf and KIPO finding Dave in his baby phase, just crying as they outrun some hunters that are after them. Benson is out finding Soda, and he comes back and saves them in an entertaining endeavor. And alas, through some roguish hijinks that center around angering Wolf more than humanly possible, they eventually team up with our main two and assist KIPO on her adventure. Benson and KIPO bond, yada yada, the whole deal. And when they go to this theme park run by rats, I know, heaven, KIPO's, starting to get a little crush on my man here. She and him have some fun on the rides and jazz, and it's all romantic for her until she decides that she's gonna confess right then and there. And do you know what happens? Guess, I swear. Benson's just like, sorry, Lamau, I'm gay.
Oh.
You don't feel the same.
Oh, no, I like you too. Really, really like you. You're all kinds of awesome, but you should know something.
You like me as a friend?
Yes, because I'm gay.
He just flat out says it. And as I'm watching this, I'm sitting there like, what? Because guys, I never see this. I never see characters ever doing this in cartoons and just stating that they're gay and it being a thing that's talked about and brought up in a children's cartoon, and that's why it's so special. It's really necessary for all the kids watching to see this and watch it as a normal thing. It's so important. But do you guys want to know the best part about all this? The best part is that when Benson says this, KIPO's just like, oh, alright, cool, chill. And then she respectfully moves on. She doesn't get all pouty or in denial or guilt trippy all about it. It's a good lesson to teach, I think. She just eventually gets over it, respects Benson for who he is, and encourages him even when he gets a crush on a guy. Speaking of which, it's basically the cutest thing. And there's this one part in season 2 where Benson wants to look good in front of his crush's dad, but he's gone, so Wolf has to try to brag about him, and knowing Wolf, it's great. I love it. 10 out of 10 show. Scarlemagne is the main villain of the series for the first season and most of the second, where it lightly bleeds into another villain towards the end. And this character's backstory is so interesting and unique, tied to the main characters, and it's really fun to learn about it because at first he just seems like a mean monkey, but as you go deeper into the series and watch longer, things unfold about him, and you see why he hates humans, what exactly happened to make him want to take over with mutes, and how it ties with KIPO and her parents, and you learn so much. It's so good, I swear. He basically was a regular animal, but since KIPO's parents were scientists, as I alluded to before, they actually made him into a mutant because their group of scientists were trying to figure out what made them mutate so they could unmutate them again. And KIPO's dad had to choose her over him in a situation, so it makes him all bitter and stuff. It's really interesting and one of the best villain stories I've really seen be told, and it's not even season 3 yet. Honorable mentions for side characters. KIPO's parents are the cutest, most loving, cool parents, and I want them to adopt me. Jamak is such an entertaining minor villain turned weird uncle, and is also funny frog, and I love him. The amusement park running rats are great, and I'd love to see more of them. Mulholland, the water amalgamation who can use psychic powers to make people high, is so weird, and I love it all. The lumbercats, the punk rock snakes, the frogs, the primates, all so good. The animals are good, the mutes are good, the humans are good. Speaking of the human characters, I'm sure you noticed that the show's primary cast actually consists of POC characters, which I think is super neat because we rarely get to see that sort of thing in cartoon, and Hollywood, and almost anywhere. It's so rare to have a show with mostly POC characters. Often shows and movies will just have one character in there like that, and they are often stereotyped and misrepresent the majority of POC people. So having multiple too is fantastic because we can see a huge variety of personalities among this one group of POC characters, which is just so important to have, especially in a cartoon that kids will be watching. If you're worried about how there aren't any main white characters, take your pick among the sea of cartoons with those. Thanks. So, in conclusion, KIPO is absolutely stupidly underrated. I feel as if I really don't see the show talked about enough. Because, well, it deserves to be talked about. A lot. Please tell all of your friends, followers, and I don't know, everyone to watch KIPO because, my gosh, I don't think they could possibly go wrong. Thanks lots for watching this video. If you made it here, I'd really love if I could maybe get a like or possibly a sub. I still need a lot more subscribers to hit that monetization mark, and if that ever happens, videos will come out a lot more quickly and with better quality, so I hope it's not too much trouble. I really hope you have a good rest of your day. See ya.